All right, welcome, salutations one and all. Welcome to Live from Studio 2 here at CIUT 89.5 on the FM dial. I am Dr. Mouth, and it is my pleasure today to bring you an hour of live music from what I consider to be the premier surf band in Canada. And that's saying something because there are a lot of surf bands in Canada. So welcome to Mark Malibu and the Wasagas. Hello, everybody. How you guys doing?
Yeah, thanks so much, Dan. Here's your $20 bill.
Yeah. I don't bring that up right out of the gate. We got to save the bribery stuff for later on.
Better invest it before it goes down.
So anyways, Mark, you're kind of like the head Wasaga here. Can you introduce us to the rest of the guys here?
Yeah.
Your rockin' teenage combo?
Yeah, my rockin' teenage combo. Well, we'll start with Steve, because it was in Steve's basement back in probably about 1980 that we decided to change from a punk band to a surf band. So, Steve, introduce yourself.
Yeah. It was the Degenerates became the Wasagas. It was a interesting changeover back when I was playing on a drum kit that was held together with hose clamps and vice grips.
That's very punk rock, though. So what made you switch, though? Because like 1980, we're like in full swing of the punk rock, new wave, a lot of changes in music. Why are you going back to surf?
To me, that was like 79, 80 is right when punk was changing. Because as a kid, I was in England in the early 70s, mid 70s, and I came back in 77 from seeing my grandparents. I wanted to start a punk band, but you know, when you're 14, there's no punk rockers your age. Everyone's doing, Ted Nugent and Aerosmith. But by 79, I had a punk band. And that was right when the old school punks were getting out of punk and hardcore was coming in. And to me, hardcore sounded like heavy metal, and I'm not a metal guy.
Right.
So I went back to my roots, which was 60s music, and Steve and I were talking like, what are we going to do? And I said, I'm into surf music. I bought Ventures albums. I went to a record show and I bought 10 Ventures albums for $2 each.
Yeah, exactly. You know
why I bought them? There was Hot Chicks on the front cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Guitars
they knew how to
and Hot
sell the
Chicks.
records.
I thought, okay, well maybe this is me. So I ended up really getting into it, and I started writing songs. And then Steve and I started rehearsing, and then we just started plucking guys out of other punk bands to become the Wasagas.
Right. And so that original incarnation, how long did that last? Because there's a break in here, isn't there?
So that we played up until about 82, maybe. We had some stuff. We had music released on the Smash fanzine cassettes, with the other punk and new wave bands that were out at the time. So I think the last release would have been 83. And that one was actually released in the UK as well, which is kind of cool when you're still in high school.
Yes.
And you go, hey, my music's been released in the UK. And so then we just kind of, high school ended. We graduated high school, and Steve went off and was doing his thing, and I was doing my thing. And then, Steve and I played in some other bands through the years, but I got into the film business, and I just stopped playing music. I sold all my gear. I wanted to buy a townhouse. So I didn't have guitars for like 20 years.
Oh, geez.
And my wife didn't even know I played guitar.
Amazing.
And then I got asked to play in a rockabilly band. I thought, I don't even know if I can still play. So I bought a guitar, and I could kind of play. And 2 years after that, we got asked to play a surf battle. And at that point, Steve and I had already done like a little punk rock night at a rockabilly festival. So I knew Steve was still playing, and I wouldn't have done the reunion in 2014 if it wasn't all the original guys. And it was. So it was myself, it was Steve on drums, it was Buzz on bass. And Buzz had played in bands like APB afterwards and Direct Action. Like he went the hardcore route afterwards, right? And then my friend Grant, who we kind of talked about surf, and he didn't play in the early days, but he was kind of one of the guys who were trying to get it going. So he played rhythm guitar. And then we've gone through like a ton of changes.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the two guys that are here now.
Well, okay, yeah. So the important thing is this, I can tell you without a doubt, is the absolute best lineup of the Wasagas. Like, I have never been happier in my life. Each and every one of these guys takes it so serious. They're all great players. I dropped a lot of homework on them. I said, these are 22 songs we're going to record. And plus, we also have 4 albums you got to learn. And they all did their homework. So when I decided to make the change, I put a list of people I wanted in the band. And Mike, Fast Mike, he was number 1 in guitar, and Rick was number 1 on bass. And they both said yes.
So you lucked out, yeah.
So let me introduce. This is Rick O'Connell.
Hi, Rick McConnell here, and I'm the new bass. I guess I'm going to be the new guy for the rest of the life of the band. But
Someone's got to do it.
actually, Mouth and I got my surf apprenticeship with the Mouth in the Cliff Divers.
Yes.
A surf band we did together for almost
10 years. We were together 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. Yeah.
So I was ready.
You were.
Because we dissolved that band.
That band fell apart.
Yeah.
Oh, it was that short a time?
yeah.
So there you go.
I was going to the bank after I made my list the next morning, and I run into Rick, so it was meant to be.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. And then Mike.
So we were playing shows, and this young guy kept on coming up, and he'd buy a record. So I already liked him. He was buying records. and it was the time you came to the El Macombo, we chatted a bit, because we had played at the El Macombo, the new El Macombo.
The Dreamboat or something.
Yeah. And I got to chatting. I said, he's definitely, because it was more than just being a good musician, because I'd been stalking him, seeing his other band.
Yes.
It was more than being just a good musician. They had to be good musicians and solid people, because we'd always had problems with personality-wise.
Right.
So I asked Mike, and he was in. But Mike, you know, introduce yourself. That's Fast Mike. First time he says, Mike, we got to get you stage shake. He goes, I'm Fast Mike.
I love it.
Yeah, my name's Fast Mike. I was playing in another surf band at the time. Well, still am.
Yeah, the Slime Tones. We can mention that.
Okay,
You guys are great.
Yeah. So my other band, the Slime Tones, and I was going to see the Wasagas, and I was just blown away. I just loved it. I thought it was great, and so I kept trying to talk to Mark and just trying to pick his brain about so how do I get shows? What do I do? How do I make this work or whatever? And then Mark ended up coming to the first couple of shows, and then was just kind of why don't you just come and jam, man?
And that's it.
Yeah. So it was like a no brainer. I'm pretty sure I said yeah right away. I was like, yep, I'm in. Whatever you want to do.
I think I was in shock for about a week. I couldn't believe it. And then Mark and I met for breakfast, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he called me up the one day and he says, "So who would you think would be on bass?" It's like Rick.
Yeah.
We'd already played a few times.
I played a bit with the Wasagas, so.
That is one thing we do. We like to we don't just go up and do our 10 songs each night. You know? I think, what's happening this night? Who can I sucker into our show? It might be someone in the audience. It might be another musician. We've had a slew of different go-go dancers.
Yep.
We've had everything from guys to girls to transgender. We've had it all, go-go dancers. Right now we have Starlet Satine, who's one of the best go-go dancers to me in the world, but also in Canada. She got ranked in Canada.
Nice.
So, and she travels with us, and she's a huge part of the show. And, the one thing people don't see is the long conversations we have about, okay, so if you have the red dress and the blue dress with the fringes and the white go-go boots.
And who's got the black striped shirts and who's got the red striped shirts.
Yeah.
And who's got the matching guitars.
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes into a Wasagas show, and I try to keep them fresh all the time by doing
Absolutely.
things, so.
Well, we've met everybody. Let's hear you play. So what are you going to start with?
We'll start with the 3 songs we always start our set with. Is Wasaga Theme, Surfin' a Go-Go, and Crazy Mouse.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
back here with Mark Malibu and the Wasagas. Some great tunes there. We heard the Wasaga Theme, Surfin' a Gogo, Crazy Mouse. One thing I love about instrumental bands, and you can come up with the best titles for the instrumentals. Now, when you do it, do you think, because some guys, they try to put words to it that might visually fit what it sounds like. Other people will just pick the most absurd title they can. Where do you sit?
I think the name kind of has to fit the mood of the song. You know, sometimes I'll say, because when I'm doing the demos, I mean, I have all these demos on my iPhone, but I'm trying to think, well, you know, it's kind of a surfy song. So I end up throwing in like the most obvious name, and then I change it afterwards.
Right.
Because, you know, there's like 1,000 bands that have done one like Offshore, and we did a song called Offshore. So after we did the first album, I was just going, oh, these are crummy names. You know, I got to do better. So when I wrote Crazy Mouse, I literally, when I put that together, I really was thinking about the ride, the Crazy Mouse at the CNE. I used to work
the Crazy Mouse. I remember that.
So
yeah.
I worked in the parking lot of the CNE for 4 years. You know, and it was such a cool job. We used to I was there for the Alice Cooper riot.
Oh,
you know,
hey.
Because we give free parking to the security guys. We went into every concert. So we saw the Last Police Picnic. We saw the Clash. You know, there was all these shows that we just walk into for free. So
a great time to be working at the CNE, obviously.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Ontario Place, you know, we'd see all the great guys. Like, you know, we saw Fats Domino, we saw Carl Perkins, and, you know, all this, because they would bring in the oldies there, right?
Yes, yeah.
You know, the Monkees, bands like that, Jan and Dean. So Crazy Mouse kind of brings me back to my cool summer days.
Nice. Well, I want to hear more music. I don't know about you guys, but I was so blown by those first three. Let's hear some more, because this one, here's one where you've kind of given it a surf style name.
Yeah, so I did it quite by accident. I put Boogieboard, and I thought, well, that's cool. It's not surfing. It's kind of like a kneeboarder thing. They're kind of not cool. Guess what? Guess what's huge on TikTok? Boogieboard. Why? Because people go boogieboard and they go, I need some music. So they type in Boogieboard, and we're the first one that comes up.
That's smart. Now that is smart marketing, ladies and gentlemen.
I tripped and fell into money.
Yeah, that's very, very smart. All right, well, let's hear what it sounds like on the Boogieboard.
two. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hellbent for Speed. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hellbent for CIUT. Hellbent for Dr. Mouth. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right, wow, we are back and we're whipping through the twang and the reverb here, ladies and gentlemen, with Mark Malibu and the Wasagas. We just heard Hellbent for Speed. Now, the one before that, Night Stalker, that's a new track, right?
It is new. It'll be on the new album, which will be out sometime this year. We're kind of in the middle of mixing about 20-25 new songs. So Night Stalker is one of them. And that is a song where I picked the name as I was writing it because I'm a huge Night Stalker TV.
Kolchak,
Yeah,
yeah, man, I
right?
love it.
So I bought the Blu-ray of all the shows and I was watching them and I was just going, okay, I remember the Dracula one, and I remember the zombie one, but there was a lot of other ones I didn't remember. So.
There's kind of a creature from the Black Lagoon.
There
Isn't
is.
there in the sewer or
Yeah.
something?
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
one I remember.
Yeah, it's such a great show.
It was.
And speaking of Darren McGavin, the very first time a Wasagas song was in a movie was in a film called Frat Fright, and Darren McGavin was in it, and they used one of our original recordings that we did in 1981, I guess.
Oh,
it was,
wow.
a song called Psychedelic Summer.
Right. Was that a Canadian movie?
It was filmed in Macedonia. They ran out of money. A guy in Canada bought all the negative. It just
Yeah,
goes
quite
on.
the story.
He was trying to ship it up from New York. Someone busted into the truck, stole half the negatives. So we brought it up here. And I'm a picture editor by trade. So I was working with the director editor. And we basically had to cut this movie together with what they didn't steal. Plus, he filmed for a week on U of T. And yeah,
Amazing.
Darren McGavin.
Amazing. Now, so has that happened a lot, getting your tunes in? I mean, obviously, if you have a film background, you kind of have that extra edge. But is it hard to get stuff in movies
It's
and shows?
really hard because that's one of the main incomes for bands these days. But I'm hustling. I'm
Yeah.
hustling all the time. So a song that you hear later on in this show, Wasagas Showdown, I had in a TV show called The Good Witch. And man, oh man. So not only do they pay you well to put it in the show, when I get my SoCan checks, it's good money. So every time I get one of these, I go, okay, well, it's a few $1,000s. That goes into paying to mix some new songs.
Right, just put it back into the band.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then it's not out yet, but we had a song placed in the TV show Hudson and Rex, and that'll be out in a couple weeks.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's the one with the dog and the cop, right?
Yeah. Dog solving crimes, man.
Mark, what about the stuff that's done in like 8-bit or 16-bit or whatever?
Oh yeah, so someone used our music and they did it in 8-bit for a video game series.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we also had a song in a slasher movie this year, Chamber of Horror.
Nice.
So, they add up. It's not going to make me rich, but it pays. It's like the money comes in and it's way more than going out to play a gig. So,
No, it's just like you said, it's another stream of revenue, right?
Yeah.
And this day and age for a band, it's hard, right?
well, plus I see people putting like all their life into getting streams, and it's just like, that stream's going to pay you 10 cents. Like, go and bug some music supervisors. No, don't do that. I'm doing that. but work at the music supervisors, because one of those is worth millions of streams.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back into some tunes, because I'm looking at the list here. I love this tune. Whenever you guys do this one live, Hip Shake Gogo Baby. And this is a great example of how because I find with you guys, you're really good at engaging the audience. And that's kind of a classic tune where you do that.
I wanted to make sure there's a few songs in our set in various stages where we're involving the audience, because too often you'll go see a surf band, it's like watching four guys ride a calculus.
They won't even say anything.
It's like they're doing a math exam on stage, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of boring. So I try to be more. I always say we're like the Archies meets the Ramones, but on stage I'm trying to be more like Lux from the Cramps.
Yes, right.
Grabbing people.
Right. Okay, well, let's get into it here. Time for everybody stand up, and let's do the Hip Shake Go-Go Baby. with Mark Malibu and the Wasagas. They're cranking out the tunes for us. We just heard Storm Surf, Ain't Gonna Crash, 12-Year Surf Itch, that's another one of my favorites, and Hip Shake, Gogo Baby. Now, Mark, this one tune, Storm Surf, this has a really interesting story to it. Want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so it was last summer, we got asked to play a surf festival in Italy, and believe it or not, that's the largest surf music festival in the world in Livorno, Italy. So everyone was up to going, so much so that even we brought our go-go dancer.
Nice.
Yeah, and you talk about the pressure being on. These are the top surf bands in all of the world, over a weekend. So, and my train of thought is always search and destroy, search and destroy. We're going to go there, and people, whatever happens, people are going to leave talking about us. They'll say, these are the good bands, but we're going to be on the tip of their tongue because of what we do. Now, we had our first show was on the Mediterranean. That was kind of nice. On the main stage, and we played, and no one there really knew us because we're not, as much as we're known, we're not really known in the huge surf community amongst the old dudes. They don't really know us yet. I mean, I still sell lots of records and everything, but we're not part of that establishment. So we went on, we did our main show, and afterwards the word was everyone's got to go see the Canadians, because our second show was the all-night tiki party,
right?
Which was on a Saturday night. It started at 1 a.m. and went until people couldn't stand anymore.
When did you guys play?
We started at 1:30 maybe, and we finished around 4:30.
The DJ and the bartender were like, I need to go home. but the audience was up for it. Everyone was still dancing.
They still wanted to go at it. Yeah, nice.
So I figured if we're playing that long, I got to break the sets up and make them interesting. So one thing we did was every set we did a series of traditional surf songs with a guest. Because, I mean, I got all the best surf guitar players there. So in the first set, we brought on Devin Berryhill, who's the guitar player of the Safaris.
Right.
We're talking about a band that's like songwriting Hall of Fame, rock and roll Hall of Fame, all this sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, one of the classic surf bands from the original era, right?
So I know Devin well enough. So I said, come up and do 4 songs with us. And I said, will you do Wipeout? And I'm sure he's so sick of being right. He goes, I'll do it, but with the song I would really like to do is Storm Surf. So we put it in the set. Now Storm Surf has an interesting story because surf music was only popular between 61 and 63.
Yeah.
And once Beatlemania hit,
that's it.
Everything was history. So for 2 years it was surf music, and then it was just like it never existed, right? So because of Wipeout, Safaris were still getting gigs here and there, but the audiences were dwindling and they weren't popular. And the record company said, we're going to bring you to the Fender factory. They got something new, and it was a new Fender 12-string guitar.
Right.
So they gave it to him. They said, go in the studio and write something. So they wrote this song, Storm Surf, on the spot, as that band did. They were good at writing on the spot. They got the acetate, and they took it home. They never played it live. They never released it. It just sat in Bob's office for years.
Wow.
So when they're looking to do a retrospect of the Safaris, I don't know if it was Devin. Someone said, hey, what's this? They played it, and they go, oh, my gosh, this is a great song. So it had never been played properly before with the 12-string and everything. So I said, Devin, learn it. So that was the last song we did with Devin, and people went bonkers because everyone knows the history of that song. So we do it now, but Fast Mike does lead guitar on it, and I play the rhythm on it.
Nice.
We can't waste Fast Mike. He's a great guitar player.
Absolutely. I have no argument here for sure. Now, that was in Italy. You've got some other European stuff coming up as well, right? Including...
Yeah. So
Gotta talk about this. It's amazing.
I had been working before the pandemic on getting the band over to England, and of course that all fell apart for 3 years. Couldn't do anything. So I picked up the pieces, and I was going to do England before Italy last year, but it would have meant being over there 2 weeks of nothing to do, and then Italy. So I said, forget it. We'll just go do Italy. So this year I've worked really hard. We put together a couple of weeks in England. And it actually starts off, and this is like a bucket list thing for me. Our tour in the UK starts off at the Cavern Club in Liverpool.
Wow, that's historic.
Yeah,
that's
it is
historic, man.
Yeah, so we have 2 shows at the Cavern Club. Then we're up to because I did all this work ahead of time to meet the people in England, the bookers, the bands, and everything. So we're going to go up to Edinburgh, and we're going to play Glasgow on that weekend, and then we come down, and we're in where are we? Newcastle. There's a place called Prehistoric Sounds, which is mainly garage bands.
Nice.
And he does one of those a month, and it just happened to line up perfectly. Then we got a couple days off. Then we're going to be in Bristol. We're going to be in Bath. And then we play in London at the New Cross Inn. Now, the New Cross Inn is south of the Thames. It's kind of like their Horseshoe Tavern.
Okay.
It's a great place. And we're playing with King Salome and the Cumberland Three. You know, I've become really good friends with Eric. They played my friend's wedding over there 10 years ago, and we just became fast friends.
Nice.
So there's that. And then we zoom up to a festival called Landlocked, which is a 3-day festival in Wirksworth, the UK. It's kind of the middle of nowhere, but the lineup that Lottie put it together for this festival is phenomenal. It's all garage, rockabilly, psychobilly, and surf. It's so
and when
cool.
you better say when this takes place in case anybody listening wants to make some plans.
Okay, so we're in Liverpool starting like around May 25th. The first week of June, that's when we're going to be in Edinburgh and Glasgow. But Landlocked Festival, which is worth going to, that's June 6, 7, and 8.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, when you played Hip Shake Go-Go Baby, you worked in a little bit from I Fought the Law, right?
Yeah.
So when you play the Cavern Club, are we going to get a Surf Beatles tune? Are you going to do something like that? Or are you going to do flying?
Well, no. So what I already have a kind of concept for what I want to do for the Cavern Club. Because we'll be playing that, we'll probably do Cry for Shadow.
Oh, which was the instrumental that Lennon and Harrison, the only time Lennon and Harrison wrote together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the story on that was they saw the Dakotas play Cruel Sea, which is usually in our set.
Right.
And they went backstage. They go, we got to do an instrumental song. And they started noodling. And then George and John came up with Cry for Shadow.
Yeah.
So we'll do that.
Perfect.
You got Scooter Girl, too.
Yeah, we could do Scooter Girl because that's kind of my song that if George Harrison did a song,
Right.
that's what it would be, Scooter Girl.
Nice. Wow, that's
And of
amazing.
course, a bunch of Wing songs.
No.
Yeah, they're going to do Back to the Egg. Back to the Egg in its entirety.
Well, we are going to...
Silly love songs.
The rock orchestra.
No, we should learn Mulligan Tire. We could use that up in
There you go. There you go.
I was thinking more Ebony and Ivory.
Oh, dear.
Okay, this is degenerating. So let's get back to some music here. We got one more set of tunes here from Mark and the boys. So take it away. Cool. All right. And then, well, I'll just come back and just really simple. How can people find out about you? Is there any upcoming ones here in town?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay,
Nothing.
so I guess I won't say that.
Too busy mixing the record,
Yeah, okay.
honestly.
I would like to get a show before we go away, but I haven't found the right thing. We were
Right.
talking to some
The
guys.
Killjoys didn't work out.
Well, no, it's I wouldn't say that's dead yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Oh, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our final set on today's show here live from Studio 2 from Mark Malibu and the Wasagas, a great Canadian surf band who are traveling the world as we're hearing. That last track we heard there, you did Fuzzy Love, Pepper Stomp, and Wasagas Showdown. Did you write Wasagas Showdown specifically as kind of like your themes, like a theme song for the band?
Well, no. So Wasagas Show, when I put the band back together again for the reunion, I kind of looked at one of our old set lists, and it was like too many of those familiar songs like Walk, Don't Run and
Right.
Wipeout and
Yeah.
Pipeline. I go, I'm not going to go on stage and play those. So I ended up writing 10 songs in 10 days. And out of that came Wasagas Showdown and like Hey Chihuahua and a few other ones. Wasaga Theme was one of those. Wasaga Theme was something I wrote strictly to be a sound check song. I thought, okay, it goes around 4 times, goes up each time. The sound guy's got to get his ass together. So, and then that's all that is.
Right.
That's all that is. That's our sound check song.
That's amazing.
So, no, Wasaga Showdown was one of those first 10 songs I wrote, and it's weird. I've never ever attempted like another spaghetti western song since that one.
Well, Spaghetti Summer was kind of spaghetti western.
It was kind of a more of a rockabilly number, and that was also one of those 10.
Was it?
Yeah.
From that batch?
Yeah.
Wow.
Prolific
Amazing.
10 days.
Yeah, amazing. Well, you guys, very prolific band. Like you've put out, I mean, there's been like 3, full lengths, and then what? How many? Like 3 or 4 EPs?
Yeah,
over the last few years.
Well, the first full length was just our old material. Then we did 3 full lengths.
Yeah.
And then last year I released like a super duper full length. It's an hour of music, and it was all our EPs and orphan songs sitting around, and it also had a radio play on it. That some
The stuff
people
from
like and some people,
compilations and that. Yeah. No, that was great. So you got the new record coming out eventually. How can people keep tabs on Mark Malibu and the Wasagas? What do they got to do?
Well, you know, we're on Instagram, Wasaga_surf. We're on Facebook, Wasaga. And we also have our own website, wasagas.com. That's the best place to go, or Facebook. Those are the 2 main places that I don't have anything else. That's more than enough.
Right. Well, that's going to pretty well wrap it up for us here. Is there anything-
Bandcamp. You can always buy music on Bandcamp.
Of course.
Yeah.
Anything from you guys
Or
to
just
wrap
call
it up?
Mark at home.
Call Mark.
I'll call him late night at home when he's got nothing to do.
Oh yeah, he's just, Diane's gonna love that. Yeah.
Call any of us.
All right. Well, once again, thanks so much, guys, for coming in. Like I said, I think you're one of the best Canadian surf bands going today, and continued success.
Well, thanks so much,
Thank you.
Dan. You know.
Thanks, Dan. It was great to be back.
Dr. Mouth on CIUT.